we go. Let's get up. Not yet. Okay, I think I should be going now. Sorry, I'm taking a minute to get set up. Little tech. Hi, Instagram. How are you? Down here on this camera, I've got everybody else. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Nice to see everybody. I'm known as America's relationship expert. I have a PhD in clinical psychology. I've written 3 books on relationships, and I'm the host of the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on iHeart Radio. First thing I love is to know where you're watching from. Hi, Miami. Hi, Barcelona. Hello, Long Beach. Good to see you in Chicago. Good to see you. I'm trying to, yeah, I can raise this up a bit so I can see all the comments. Louisiana, Pomona. I'm based in Los Angeles, but I happen to be down in San Diego right now, seeing a friend for dinner. So let me open the comments over here. Hi, Paula on Facebook. How are you? I love it when I see them coming on from the other streams. And LA, hello, Arizona. Hi, India. Wow, you're far away from home. Canada, what part? I'm a Canuck. Let's see, Laguna Beach, Boston. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Las Vegas, Charleston. It's so wonderful to see so many people. This is what I love about social media, is that you guys are everywhere. Oh, Northern Ireland and Cedar City, Utah. Hello. Hi, Chicago down here. Abby. Paula is Fair Oaks, California. Nice to see you. Oh, we're going to start already with a question from Danny on YouTube, and then I'm going to go to you guys on Instagram. If you have questions about the science of love, I want to tell you that I'm not a therapist. I don't have a therapeutic license. What I am is a psychology professor, somebody who's been reading and writing about the science of love for about 3 decades. And I have a lot of life experience too. So I'm happy to weigh in on your relationship lives if you like. Okay, Danny from YouTube says, hey, Dr. Wendy, what's the best predictor of a long, happy marriage? Well, there's lots of science on this, and I will credit this to the famous Gottmans at the Marriage Institute or the Marriage Lab up at the University of Washington. And they say they can put a couple in a problem-solving situation, and in about 4 minutes, they can tell whether they'll be divorced within 5 years. And you know what they're looking for? They're looking for turning towards when the person is in need. Emotionally turning towards instead of turning away. And so therefore, when there's frustration, when there's anger, when there's any kind of need, if the other partner takes the, there's a term that psychologists use, which is a bid for care. And sometimes it's a little insult or a little sarcasm, like you never or you always, but it's often a bid for care. It's a quiet ask for care. And if the partner is able to pick up on that bid for care and turn towards and love and accept that partner, then they're probably going to have a long, healthy marriage. But if you're competing with your partner, if you're dismissing your partner, if you're criticizing your partner, then that doesn't bode well for long-term love. Okay, Danny, that's a good question too. How does one deal with being ghosted? Okay, so here's what you should know. Every single person on the planet who's been on a dating app has been ghosted. As soon as you are ghosted, I want you to reframe the feelings of, what, am I not good enough? And instead say to yourself, phew, I was saved from somebody who's not emotionally intelligent. We would have had a terrible relationship. You see, if somebody doesn't even have the self-esteem, the compassion to say, hey, great chatting with you, nice meeting you. I don't think we're a good match. So, but good luck to you and pleasure to meet you. What does that take, right? What does that take? So if they can't even do that, where are they going to be in the trenches of love when you're feeling really stressed, right? So your feed isn't working. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Maybe I have bad Wi-Fi here. I happen to be in San Diego tonight in an Airbnb, and I know it's kind of echoey in here. How do you deal with a guy you text you back with red heart emojis? That's not a relationship. You're not getting your needs met. You stop texting back. Like, why are you responding to somebody who's not even having a real conversation with you, right? Now, often I will tell people, if you're trying to get somebody to not text you and call you, you need to train them. And what you're doing is you're rewarding them by texting them back. Even if you're rewarding with them by complaining, you never text me, how come we never get together? Why don't you ever call me? That's still a connection, maybe a negative one, but it's still a connection, right? So my recipe, if somebody's texting and not calling, is you send one last text that says, hey, I'm not a big texter, so feel free to call me. And if I see your number, I'll be happy to pick up the phone. Now, a rule is not a rule. It was not a rule until it's been tested. So that person is going to try to text you back, but you have to keep your hands off your iPhone and not respond, because they can scroll back and read your last text. However, when they finally do call, might be a couple of weeks because they're like, where'd that person go? Then you can't pick up the phone and say, oh, see, you finally figured out how to call, right? No, you have to go, hey, how are you? I was just thinking about you. Reward the good behavior. Reward good behavior, ignore bad behavior. Okay. I know Danny's got a question I want to go to, but there was one back here. I'm talking to this guy for 4 months. He is a doctor, has 7 days on, 7 days off. When he's on his working week, he doesn't contact me for a whole week. Yeah, and you don't have compassion for that? Do you know what kind of schedule they have when they're working? Now, you're sure he's not married and doesn't have a secret wife on that? Like, you're sure he's actually there working and all that? You might say to him, hey, I'm missing you during those 7 days when you're working. I know how stressed you are, but could we schedule a check-in on Wednesdays, just a short one, so that I feel connected to you? That's fine. Okay, Danny's question. Danny says, when I see other hot, good-looking couples on Instagram, it makes me jealous and makes me compare. Help. Okay, what we're talking about is something called social evaluative threat. So basically, you worry what people are thinking of you because your comparison is somebody else. And you're thinking like, that is the standard and that is the norm. The truth is, as we get older, we have less social evaluative threat, which is nice. We just don't care what people think of us so much. But we'll also stop getting ourselves out of that place of, Instagram, social media, all that stuff is so fake, right? These are not often, and I always say this too, like if you're trying to go as a couple on Instagram to prove how in love you are, how committed you are, how gorgeous you both are, then I'm like, if you got to say it, is it so, right? He doth protest too much. Why do you have to advertise that? I would say some of those couples aren't as happy as one would think. So Matthew says, my girlfriend's siblings have not reached out to meet me or hang out. They're a bit younger. I want to make the effort to get to know them. Help. Your girlfriend should do that. She's supposed to be the one doing the introductions, right? Like, it's not your place to reach out. So relationships are a bridge between tribes, right? And we both have to extend that bridge. It's an extension bridge. Hey, Robert from Cleveland, how are you? Who else we got up here? Did you say reward good behavior and ignore bad behavior? Did I understand it well? Yes. We do it with parenting too. What we do is we give kids our attention, often negative attention, when they're doing things we don't like. If you ignore the things that we don't like, I mean, not the unhealthy or unsafe things, but the irritating things, and instead catch them being good. You can do that with your partner, your lover too. Just catch them being good. Somebody's conflicted. Currently seeing 2 guys, neither relationship is labeled exclusive. However, feel as if I'm misleading them both. How do I proceed with making a choice and being honest? I feel conflicted. I'm so glad you brought that question up. One of the reasons sometimes people date more than one person is because underneath it, they're unaware of, and I'm not saying this is you necessarily, but people who are listening might have this, is you have kind of abandonment anxiety. So if you can always keep one just there, if the other one doesn't work, you've got that one to go to, and it's a little back and forth. You say that these relationships are not exclusive and you've had the conversation. Here's the problem. When you did the deal, as at some point we all kind of do the deal, your body wasn't involved and the neurohormones haven't affected your brain. Because once you start having sex, all of a sudden you start to become attached. And yes, you're getting close and you're catching feelings, and that's good, that's normal, that's the way it's supposed to be. So, I remember once dating 2 guys and being unable to make a decision, and I wrote this big long piece of paper with all the pros and cons, trying to just make this decision. But you know what? They made the decision for me in that case. because one of them acted up and it was very obvious, right? Like, why am I chasing the one who can't give me back when there's this kind one right there? So ask about that. He says, what? When I am with this guy, he just talked about how stressful his work is. He can talk for 30 minutes without asking me anything. I feel we miss the fun part of the play part of dating. Yeah, if he's using you to just emotionally dump on, that's not healthy either, right? You can actually always comment on it. Like, hey, I noticed that you've been talking about how stressful your life is, but you haven't asked me much about me and my week. I'm wondering why. Just ask the question, comment on the dynamic. Robert, I would need way more information. Any tips for dealing with my step grandkids? So you're married to a woman who has grandkids, and their father, step grandkids' father. That would be her. I don't know why I'm confused. I can't figure out this family thing. Demonstrates severe narcissistic traits. Well, it's not your business to change them or fix them. And I don't think this is somebody you need to have a close relationship with. Oh, this is a great question, Matthew. Oh, your wife's grandkids. I don't think you need to have a relationship with him, do you? Do you need to sit at the Thanksgiving table with them? Is that important? I don't know. Matthew says, why do women love a man with passion and purpose? Look, in our evolutionary past, we needed a guy who can bring back the protein, protect us from predators. And if a guy's got some stuff going on in his life and has a passion for anything, we get excited, okay? Very, very important. Okay, I'm gonna go over, I do this short live stream every Wednesday at 6:00 p.m. Pacific time to remind you to tune in to my iHeart radio show every Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. And you can download the iHeart radio app and search Dr. Wendy Walsh, or the station is called KFI AM 640, and listen to the show anytime. There are past shows there and everything. They get put up as podcasts. And in addition, after I leave you right now, I'm going to head over to my Patreon Zoom room, where I do a private exclusive Zoom room for my Patreon community every Wednesday at 6:30. So if you want to come and have your cameras on and meet me, it's always wonderful to get to know everybody. Anyway, nice to see everybody. I will see you next week at 6:00, but come on to my Patreon Zoom room. It is patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. Otherwise, I will see you on the radio, the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on KFI AM 640 every Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. Bye, everybody. Good to see you.